Hi, I'm Jack. I've just finished my A-levels and I thought I'd tell you about the dissertation style EPQ I did in year 12. I got an A star for my EPQ and hopefully this series will help you get one too. In this video I'm going to be talking about what you should do your EPQ on and what you should think about when you're choosing a title. There are 5 things to really think about when picking the topic and title of your EPQ. The first one, is this something I'm interested in and want to learn more about? You can pick just about any subject to do your EPQ on, so make sure you pick something you're actually interested in. You're going to have to spend a long time researching a project and then have to write around 5,000 words on it. So why make it painful if you don't need to? Choose something you're going to actually enjoy learning more about and writing an essay on. Second, is this something you can actually research? You're going to be assessed on your use of resources, so you'll need to be able to find research materials, relevant books, articles and websites. You need to be sure that there are enough resources available, you have a way to access them, and you can understand them. For example, if you're trying to find enough resources to answer what impact did poor mental health have on Neanderthals, it's probably going to be tricky. On the other hand, you don't want something where the answer is really obvious from the outset, because then you need to be able to discuss different views and opinions and see what the outcome is. If you can just find out everything there is to know from a very short Google, it's probably too simple. Third, can you cover this in sufficient depth? Your EPQ essay has to be around 5,000 words, give or take 500, so you need a title you can cover in sufficient depth within that word count. So deciding you want to write about how life on Earth has evolved and how species are likely to evolve in the future is going to be extremely difficult to cover because it's far too large a topic. Equally, you want a title that's so narrow it could be covered in a couple of paragraphs after a quick Google. So make sure you have something you can research and write about to a reasonable depth within the word limit. And then fourth, can I evaluate and actually form a conclusion on this? Because your EPQ is not just meant to be a descriptive piece. You can't just, for example, describe how a car engine works or a heart monitor. You need a title you can discuss, form an opinion on, and then draw a conclusion on based on the evidence from your research. The fifth and final one isn't essential, but you might want to consider doing your EPQ on something that's relevant to what you want to study or do after your A-levels. This can make it much more useful when applying to universities or for degree apprenticeships, and as your interests may well align with what you want to do when you finish school, this is often a not too difficult one. When it comes to thinking about the different topics you're interested in and narrowing them down, it's great to start with a mind map, and this can obviously be included in your project when you submit it as part of your planning. Start by maybe thinking about 2 or 3 subjects that you're interested in, and then 2 or 3 topics within each of these subjects if you'd like to learn a bit more about. You then might want to do a bit of research into a few of them to see if one is more suitable for an EPQ than the others, or if reading about one you find far more interesting than the others. In my case, I was doing a cyber EPQ, so my subject had to be computer related anyway. The 2 topics I was most interested in were encryption and pen testing. I did some more reading about each of them and came across an article looking at the dangers of quantum computing to encryption. This caught my interest and led me to the title, How has encryption evolved and what does the future hold for it in the age of quantum computing? I wanted a title with 2 main parts to it, one that was very research focused, how has encryption evolved, and one that would lead to discussion, evaluation and a conclusion. What does the future hold for it in the age of quantum computing? Since your title needs to be a researchable question. You may find that you begin working with a title that actually changes as your project develops. I later realised mine was a bit vague, what does the future hold for it, and too open-ended to form an effective conclusion. To fix this, I actually ended up changing it fairly late on in my essay to how has encryption evolved and will it survive in the age of quantum computing, since this has a yes-no answer. I spoke to my supervisor who approved the change, and I was then able to explain the reasons for it on my skills and evaluation sheet, and listed communication and decision making as the skills I'd used for this. So don't feel that once you have chosen a title you have to stick with it no matter what, but do check it fits with the 5 criteria from earlier in this video, and then you can start moving on to planning your EPQ. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out the other videos in this series.